All right, folks, this is it. Stop being cheap and stop being scared. When I talk about being cheap and I talk about being scared, I know sometimes everyone may have an opinion because everybody is different. And sometimes people may feel like, you can't tell me how to spend my money. Or the truth is, if they are afraid, they will try to play it off by saying that, oh no, I'm not scared, I just want to be careful. And I get it, the mixed emotion, the uncertainties, but this is what I say. Stop being scared. Number one, if you stop being scared, you'll live a little. And you only live your life one time, and to me it makes best sense to experience everything that you possibly can, of course being responsible, so that you know what it's like. I don't care if it's talking about a vacation, if it's in regards to a car, a home. I don't care what it is. For the most part, just stop being scared. You know, it's one thing to be careful and one thing to be cautious. It's an entirely different thing when you're just straight up scared. All right? Scared, say you're scared. Right? But what I want to encourage you to do is to overcome that fear. Being scared is real. For some people, it's, the all in all, and it shuts them down where they become immobilized. They can't make a decision, they can't take action. And understandably, there are times in life that may happen. We're all different, and everyone, has a right to their feelings, a right to their decision making, even if it's not good, and even if it's not good for other people, it just may be good for them. So being scared, I won't say it's a good thing that it has its place, but I'll just say it's a real thing. Okay. Number two, sometimes people are just scared to spend, and that's basically a part of the same thing. But as it relates to finance, or as it relates to purchasing things or investing, the difference is when you purchase something, you're buying something. Normally, there's no ROI. There's no return on the investment. Like when you're buying food. Okay, do you really need to go to this high-end place to buy a food because everyone is going there, or because you're in a particular town? Or should you just refrain, knowing that you can't afford it, or that you want to spend money on something else, even though it may not be a return on your investment? It may be an experience that you're planning, and you don't want to overdo or overextend your budget. So in that case, it makes sense. But normally, the bottom line is when you are choosing to invest, it's not spending. Because when you invest, you get a return on your investment. Something is coming back to help you, to better you, whether it's educational, whether it's position. So there's a big difference between investing and spending. So if you're scared to spend, I get it. If you're scared to invest, I'm going to tell you like this. Scared money don't make money. So sometimes you simply have to make that investment so that you find out what's for you or what's not for you. And when it's all said and done, only you can make that decision, but make it wise. And when it's all said and done, you have to get what you want out of life. And you can't always get what you want out of life because you're scared. Because you can't enjoy the experience. You don't know the fullness of what the experience offers because you're hiding. You're not exploring. You're not being open. You're not allowing yourself to go there. Whether it's physically going somewhere, or whether it's just mentally, or whether it's tasting something, You have to be open hearted, open minded. Not every day, not all the time, but at least sometimes. You can't be cheap when it comes to taking the kids somewhere all the time. You can't be cheap when it comes to getting, well, I'm going into a whole different area, but sometimes being cheap and being scared, they are cousins. They straddle the fence together. They run right alongside of one another from beginning to end. But you can't be scared to give yourself what you deserve. And at the same time, as it relates to being cheap, you don't want to be cheap with all these other things. Because when you're being cheap on yourself, you're not getting the benefits. And when you're being cheap with or to others, they feel you don't care. Now, clarification. Money is not everything. You should not have to spend your all, or you should not have to spend a lot to prove that you care for someone. But at the same time, you should not always refrain from giving, sharing, or spending or investing with others or in others. So stop being cheap and stop making excuses like, oh, I'm not cheap. I'm frugal. I'm not cheap. I just want to select carefully what I want. I think we all understand that. And if you don't have what you want, the answer simply is to save, to cut corners on useless spending so that you have the money that you want to use for whatever that's valuable to you down the road. So stop spending on, I hate to say it because I used to do it, stop spending on cigarettes, foods you don't eat, drinks you don't drink. You had a refrigerator full of junk and you wind up throwing it away all the time. Don't waste your money and don't waste yourself. Be careful, be conscious so that you can have the money to do what you want and you don't have to be cheap and you don't have to be afraid to spend that money. So stop being scared and stop being cheap, because at the end of the day, whether I did this video or not, you know the truth. And the truth is sometimes you scared. And the truth also is sometimes you are being cheap. Fellas, stop being cheap with your girl. Stop being cheap with your wife and kids. Ladies, stop being cheap with your husbands and your boyfriends, playing them for a sucker. Come on now, we know the real deal. Let's show the love, let's share the love, let's give the love. Stop being scared and stop being cheap. If you got any value from this, tell me in the feed how you spend your money or how you prevent from wasting money. Because it's not just for me, it may be for someone else. How do you allow yourself to do all the things you want, which shows that you're not being cheap and you're not scared. And if you are scared and if you are cheap, tell me why you are scared and tell me why you are cheap. And always remember, you gotta radiate the brain and change the game.